welcome back to the camping fridge test. This is our fifth and final test.
Yeah.
And we're doing the 24-hour.
The 24-hour test.
The killer test.
Yeah, the real test.
I only live like almost 80 kilometers away from you and, 24 hours and, and I've got to thank you for getting up early and making sure that things are right while I'm stuck in traffic and on my way here. And weekends, because this test took us quite some time to get done.
It did, didn't it?
And, right, so let's explain what we did first before we talk about our personal lives and how badly we... If you were supporting us on Patreon, we would be happy because then we'd actually get paid to do this test for you guys. But click that button nonetheless. So,
buy some more tools.
Yeah, buy some more tools. Yeah. All right. So 24-hour test. What was the 24-hour test? Why did we think about the 24-hour test?
Well, with all the other tests that we did,
Yeah.
one of the things that everyone asks you when you do a solar installation or anything else is how much does your fridge draw over your 24-hour period?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to fill all these forms out. I'm sure everyone's had a look at them and seen them, yeah? So what we wanted to do is test the fridge properly.
Yeah.
Fill it full of water or drinks, whatever it is, shut the lid and run it.
And switch it on.
And switch it on. And let's just see, let's get it down to what the temperature it is.
Yeah.
Again, we chose 0. That's where you want your drinks around about 1 or 2 degrees. So 0 just seemed like a good number to start with the fridges. Yeah, it could have been a little bit further. We could have done it at 4. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
And just run the fridges for 24 hours and let's see what the real power consumption from these things was.
Yeah.
They've got to bring down basically its full volume of water, or not water itself, but bottles of water all pulled in, pull them all down to temperature, and then hold them there for 24 hours.
Okay.
We haven't done the full test where we're opening and
No,
closing
we're not
them,
opening, but we did the installation test last week, so we'll be able to make some assumptions, and we've done the cycling test and how long it takes a fridge to cycle to get down to temperature. And if you add that all into the equation with the 24-hour test, it can give us a good idea of how much, which fridge would be using more at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we basically, so what you're saying, we're doing 24-hour test. We've taken fridges at room temperature, shoving in 12 bottles of water at room temperature, switch them on, 24 hours, measure amp hour, and we're measuring the bottle
temperatures and the fridge temperatures to see that it's got that.
Right, so fridge temperature, bottle temperature, and the amp hour.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only with all of that, we've made sure that the room is, again,
of course, yes,
the right temperature as well.
Of course. So for those of you that haven't watched the other shows, is that we're in Gareth's workshop. It's a closed environment. We've got aircon running over here, and we can keep the ambient temperature the same throughout all the tests. So hot days, cold evenings makes no difference. It stays at the same temperature. So keeping it pretty fair, if you want to go and have a look at those, check the description. How we did all of these tests in there. We've spent some time explaining to you how we've done it, how we're measuring the amp hour, where we're measuring the fridge temperature, how we're measuring the water temperature, so on. It's all there. We're not going to bore you with that. Let's get into the results for this 24 hours.
Okay, so the SnoMaster on high drew 29.2 ampere hours.
Over a 24-hour period. Okay.
Yeah, so very close to 30 ampere hours.
Yeah.
All right. The temperature of the bottles when we opened it up was minus 0.5.
Okay.
And the fridge temperature was 0.
Okay. So set on 0, stayed at 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
The SnoMaster on low, 29.3.
0.6 less. Okay.
No. 0.1 more.
0.1 more. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
29.3. 0.1 more.
That's 0.1 less.
0.1 less. 0.1 less on the usage, yes.
Yeah.
So 29.2, 29.3.
It's actually 29.3 and the other one was...
Oh, it's more.
It is more.
It utilised more. And I'll tell you why it utilised more, because it took that much longer to get the bottles cold.
Yeah.
Because on high, we've seen in the past tests that it ran a lot quicker and got the bottle down to temperature that we were looking for. And this, obviously, with the warm temperature, took that much longer to cycle. So if we take our cycle test, it took 1 hour and 17 minutes to cycle, whereas it 2 hours and 32 minutes to cycle on low. So now by putting it in there, it obviously took that much longer to cycle, and that's why it's used more power. So it makes sense to run the SnoMaster on a high and cool it down real quick, and then put it into low, and then let it idle on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, They're
it's
running
0.1 of an amp over here, really, at the end of the day. And if we look at the rest of the if you look at the rest of that now, basically what the bottle temperature was minus 0.3, so it's minus 0.5, same, and the fridge is minus 1. It's really much of a muchness. Could have been in the cycle period over there.
That's what I think as well. You know, it could have just been running over one cycle. It's just starting to pull a bit more power.
So just drag that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, one of the ones that points that out to us is the ARB.
Yeah.
You know, the current consumption on that was 23.4.
Okay.
But the temperature of the bottle was 2.3.
Yeah, you see, so now you're 2.3 degrees out on that, and yeah, so that would again show why it didn't use that 6 amp hour. If it tried to get it down to 0 and left it at 0, and we saw in the insulation test prior to this one that the ARB's insulation was really bad. So it would have had to just cycle and cycle and cycle to keep it. So it maybe was trying to cycle over here as well, but it's 2.3, so it's it should have used more power.
It should have used more power, but it's not.
It maybe just got there at 2.3 and then just left it at that.
Maybe there's a different thing in the cycling of how the temperatures run and stuff, but again, that's for another discussion. The Engel drew 30 amps, 30 ampere hours, and the fridge temperature is minus 0.1, and the temperature of the fridge was 0. So it used a little bit more than the SnoMaster.
Very minimally. Used on 12 hours, it used the least.
It used the least, yeah.
Okay, but again, we've seen with the Engel how long it takes to cool things down.
So it just chugs away.
So once it doesn't really care. You can put boiling water into it. It'll just give the maximum power of 2.2 amp. Boom, 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 consistently until it cycles. So that makes sense why it used that much power. All right, the Waeco.
23.8.
Okay.
Minus 0.5 and 0.
All right, so the Waeco
came out ahead.
Got there ahead. It took a long time for the Waeco to cycle. If you remember the test that we did, eventually, I think it was infinity. We eventually just marked it as infinity. I think it was 4.5 hours and it hadn't cycled yet. But it seems that when it takes that cooling process and it goes into this chugging mode, this idling mode we saw in the last test as well, in the 12-hour test, that it just kind of just shuts off. As long as you're not opening and closing that fridge.
This is a big, big thing.
It's going. So if you're looking at a fridge with this test over here, quite frankly, even though the ARB was 2.3 degrees more than the rest of the fridges, so if we added another 2 amp hour, the ARB and the Waeco over here use far less power. But I think this is again once the way that the compressors are set up.
Yeah, it could well be. I mean, for example, if you're a medical thing where you're coming from a hospital, throwing it into a fridge of a car that you're not going to open it until you get there, and you're 2 days drive away, this could be the fridge that does it. It's just going to run. You're not going to open it.
You can get your kidney transplant and your heart transplant done, but if you're not going to stop for a beer on the way, you're buggered.
But you know, we've seen all the tests now. This 24-hour test really does show you that these fridges are drawing between 25 to 30 ampere hours on a night idling.
Yes.
Yeah, I put the stuff, the drinks in the fridge, shut the lid. How much does it pull? 30 ampere hours. So you know, I'm looking at probably almost double that now for your normal usage. That's really the test. I don't think we've got much more to say.
No, I think that's that. And so it's interesting to see each of the tests that we've done. We've had various fridges come out on top.
Yeah.
But Gareth and I, it's actually Gareth's birthday in a week's time, and we're going to be spending some time on the beach. And I think we'll be discussing all the results in a nice backdrop, beachy backdrop for you. And I think it's going to be interesting because the arguments are going to come up as to which fridge is better for which kind of person, weekend warrior, overlander, and then we've got to bring the batteries into it, we've got to bring in the charging cycles, we've got to bring in guys that are running trailers that only rely on their vehicle to charge that battery, and all that comes into play. And having these 5 tests over there, I think is going to give us a good foundation to be able to give you the right tools to be able to test or to basically choose
a fridge.
Basically choose a fridge. I
mean, from these tests though, we can see that they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty good, and I think that leaves it for that last conversation is, what is. Well, we'll leave it for the last conversation. Right, once again, Gareth, thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.